Hello, this is Talon with Old Guy Stuff on Busy Corner Lane, and today we're going to be talking about the Link Amiibo that was made for Tears of the Kingdom, and they both came out 1 week ago today. Now I'm going to try to do this review without voicing an opinion, just giving facts that I've noticed. Okay, in the game, if I'm going to use an Amiibo, I need to go to this radio dial or the wheel menu for the different abilities and choose the one that's blue with the white letter A. That's for the Amiibo. So you choose that one. And I'm going to get these white circles with a white dot on the inside. That means I can do the supply drop right there. If I cannot do the supply drop, I'm going to get a white X. Now, most times if I get the white X, I can just move a little bit and it's going to be okay, and it's going to turn into the circle and dot, and then I can do the supply drop. So on the supply drop, I'm getting items outside the box, and I'm getting the box, which is a treasure chest. Now, I've noticed almost every time I do a supply drop, the items outside the box are mushrooms. Okay. So I get those and open up the box, and I get the Knight's Broadsword that is decayed. Okay, we're near the beginning of the game where I've got 80-something shrines done and a lot of the depths and a lot of the sky area already done. So we have not finished everything, so I'm not in game at all. Okay, but I am, I guess maybe halfway through. So I get a Knight's Broadsword, that's a 7, it's decayed, so I'm going to do it again. I get the same weapon. I'm going to do it again. I get the same weapon. I'm going to try it one more time. 4 times in a row, I get the same weapon. Okay. So I decided on a hunch, let's change location. Where I was at before was on Link's property in Hateno Village. So I moved to this cave in the Hebrew Mountains where there's a shrine that I could just teleport to. And I get a nice broadsword, but this one is not decayed. So I get a nice broadsword no matter where I'm at. But in Hateno Village, that broadsword is decayed. And here in this cave of ice, it's not decayed. On the bottom of this menu in that middle area, I get the Champion's Leathers fabrics. That is the only thing that is not a nice broadsword that has been offered to me in a treasure chest so far. So I've done this dozens of times, just not saving, just loading and changing locations, and I'm getting basically the same stuff. I'm either getting the nice broadsword, or I'm getting this Champion's Leathers fabric. And depending on the place I get the broadsword, some are decayed, some are not. So I decided to do this one in the labyrinth just north of the Akala Ancient Technology Lab, or what used to be, and it's now a Yiga hideout. And again, I'm getting a nice broadsword, and this one is not decayed either. So I decided to try this out on Breath of the Wild, because I've heard rumor that you could use an Amiibo on more than one game, and since they're both Zelda games, I figured why not? It might work. So if I'm going to start it up in the game, I can always choose in the menu, in the starting menu, to use the Amiibo. If I don't, then I've got to do this in-game. And in game, you just go to Options. Go to the Amiibo part up top that says Use Amiibo, because otherwise it'll say Do Not Use Amiibo. Now, the difference in the way the menus are set up once you have activated the Amiibos is in Breath of the Wild, this menu for the runes is horizontal. It's just a straight line. And in Tears of the Kingdom, it's a circle. But you go to this Amiibo icon there for the rune. choose where you're going to put it. I'm in front of the Shrine of Resurrection here on Great Plateau. It's going to tell me what part of the controller to touch the amiibo to. And I got a Royal Claymore. So my first attempt, I got a Royal Claymore with the durability up. Now I've noticed that almost everything I get from the Great Plateau, except for the perimeter wall, is a Royal Claymore. The modifiers vary, but it's Royal Claymore. So I decided to try this out in Hiteno Village. Okay, so in Hiteno Village, I noticed that everything is dropping outside of the treasure chest is a fish. Different types of fish. And that happened over in the Great Plateau also. So I open up the treasure chest, I get a Royal Halberd. And every time I've done this in Hiteno Village, I've got a Royal Halberd. This one's long throw, the next one's a long throw, and this one's durability up. So I'm getting a Royal Halberd every time. But my modifiers are different. So I decided to try this out on Eventide Island. And I'm still getting the health items like the fish outside the treasure chest, but inside the treasure chest, I'm not getting a weapon now. I'm getting bomb arrows. And every time I've tried this here on Eventide Island, I've gotten some type of arrows. I've got shock arrows, I've got fire arrows, and I've got ice arrows. So this time I've got bomb arrows. So I decided to try this out over at Gerudo Town, and they're not letting me in because I'm not dressed for that town. But every time I have tried this here, I've gotten a Royal Broadsword. This modifier is durability up. So I decided just to have a little bit of fun and do one of these supply drops right on this person's head. Okay, sorry, I'm mean that way. And then I went to the castle because you got to get some good stuff from the castle, right? So I went to the castle, and again, every time I've tried this, I've gotten, at least in this area, I've gotten Royal Broadsword. Now, what happened outside of the chest was fish and arrows, but inside the chest was a Royal Broadsword. And every time I've done this in this particular room in the castle, I'm getting a Royal Broadsword. So I decided to start over a new game, and I get this message in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. You cannot use an amiibo until you've reached a certain point in the game. So you have to make a certain amount of progress. And I'm not exactly sure what that point was in Tears of the Kingdom. I think you had to finish that Sky Island area first where you start out, and then you can use it. I'm not exactly sure, but I think that's what happened. But in Breath of the Wild, you have to clear the 4 shrines on the Great Plateau and get the paraglider so that you can leave, and then you can use the amiibo. And I did one more here over in the Great Plateau. Now, earlier in the Great Plateau, I was getting Royal Claymore, but on the perimeter wall, I'm getting Royal Broadswords. And each time on the wall, I'm getting different modifiers, but I'm still getting a Royal Broadsword. So on a hunch, I decided to try this out with the Monster Hunter Sunbreak. So if you have no interest in Monster Hunter, you could probably sign off now. Just leave me a nice message. I'd appreciate that. But if you think you might be interested in the Monster Hunter games, well, let's see how this is going to play out. I'm still using the Link Amiibo from Tears of the Kingdom. Now, you got to talk to the merchant in the village. And one of the menu choices is Read Amiibo. You'll get this image that tells you where on the controller to put it. It'll tell you if it successfully read it or not. It'll inform you that you got to do the Amiibo lottery, and in the lower left corner, it'll say lottery attempts left today 6. Now in the Zelda games, you can use only 1 Amiibo a day. Doesn't matter if I got a bunch of Amiibos or only one, you can only use it 1 time a day. Whereas in the Monster Hunter Rise, you can use up to 6 Amiibos 1 time per day. And it tells you what your prize choices are on this. Okay, so I haven't done it yet, so I'm about to. So I have 6 attempts left. I'm only going to do one. It gives you this animated thing. And unlike seeing the fish or the mushrooms fall outside the treasure chest and then the treasure chest, this just tells you what you get by the icons. You can just click on them to put them in your inventory. Okay, so this is my review without being opinionated on the Link Amiibo for Tears of the Kingdom. Now, it works with Tears of the Kingdom. It works with Breath of the Wild. So I would think that any of these Zelda games that can use an amiibo, this is probably going to work for them. I was surprised that it worked with the Monster Hunter Rise game. So that's a good thing. So if you have other amiibos, you could probably try them too. So this is Talon with Old Guy Stuff on Busy Corner Lane. Have a safe, happy, peaceful, wonderful day, and goodbye.